Hey guys, what I'm working on is my 200-hour service on my BX23S. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and sit back and watch the video. What you're looking at here is my tractor and ramp. I'm getting ready for my 200-hour service on this tractor. So I went to the Kubota dealer and I picked up all my supplies that I needed. So what you're looking at here is some pinch-off pliers for the fuel line. I've got my Rotilla T6 oil fully synthetic, which I picked up at Walmart. I've got my UDT fluid. I bought a 5-gallon container. This is your OEM air filter. I've got the engine oil filter cartridge and my hydro oil filter. So let's go and get this installed. There's your fuel filter, two of them, one for the side and one for the bottom. So I prefer to go with the OEM parts for my tractor because I'm not gonna do this again for another I think it's another 200 hours for the main oil and filter. As you can see here, it's not that expensive. It's a little bit more than what you're seeing right there because on this list I have a 2.5 gallon of UDT, which I ended up returning and buying the 5-gallon because the front axle uses the same UDT. So I'm going to change the front axle fluid, so that's why I decided to buy the 5-gallon, so I always have some on hand anyway when needed. So you figure the total price will probably be about $150 at my dealership. It's about $150. So let's go ahead and proceed with this oil change. What you're gonna need is to make sure that you get a 14mm wrench or a socket. That way you can get that nut off and start draining your oil. So let me get this nut opened up and start getting my oil drained out. If it's a little bit tight, just give it a little bit of pressure and it should break loose. Sometimes dealer put it extra tight, but if you're doing your own oil change, you'll know how much to snug it. Now I know I keep saying nut, but I really meant the bolt. So sometimes I use the term interchangeably. Now if you look at the oil coming out, you'll see how it's pouring out in steps. What you're gonna see I'm gonna do is I went and pulled the dipstick. Once I pull the dipstick, you see that oil start flowing smoothly. That lets you get the oil out quicker and smoother and drain all the way. Meanwhile, I'm gonna try to do something else while this oil is draining. So while the oil is draining out, I'm gonna go ahead and replace my filter. What you didn't see me do here, I should have cleaned the filter area. The same thing with the oil. I should have cleaned the oil area first, wipe it down with a dirty rag or something, and clean this filter area before I remove the filter to prevent debris from getting in that space between the filter and the engine. I put some oil on the o-ring itself, so when I go back to put that filter on, it goes on smooth and forms a seal. Now I'm cleaning the area around where the filter goes, all that old oil and in that hole and stuff. I'm cleaning that out to make sure no debris, dirt or anything drops in that area, and I'm cleaning it as best I could. Now I'm putting back the new filter that I just put the oil on the o-ring. I'm screwing that back in, and what I'm gonna do is hand tight this. You don't want to use a filter wrench or anything else, just a hand tight, a little bit of snug, and that's it. If it's too slippery, use a towel, a cloth, and turn it, and once you feel that tightness, that's it. It should not leak if your o-ring is in place. So I'm giving it that extra tightness, and then I'm gonna move on. Now that that filter is finished installed, I'm gonna go back because the oil should be drained out by now. You wanna start putting back your drain plug back in, and you wanna start it by hand and screw it as much in as you can by hand before you put a wrench to it. That way you know how much turn you're giving it with a wrench. You do not want to strip the threads on this oil pan. You strip the threads, you're looking at replacing the entire oil pan or retapping that thread and putting probably a bigger bolt in there. So you want to make sure you screw it in by hand and then use the wrench after you bottom out. Now let's move along and change this air filter. So I'm going to clean up the area around it just to prevent dust and dirt from getting in there. So let's go ahead and pop that cover off and proceed with changing out the air filter. Now you'll see that the air filter, they always collect a lot of dirt and debris depending on what you're doing. You'll see it collects a lot of dirt and debris, and you can see that filter cover has a marking for the top, which way goes on top. So you want to make sure that you install it back correctly. Let me get all that stuff cleaned out of the filter area, all that shaving that's in there and dust and dirt, and then I'll put that new filter back in. Now if you look at the old filter and the new filter in comparison, you can see the difference in the cleanliness. And you know, a clean filter gives you a better airflow, which gives you better combustion, and in turn save you on your diesel fuel. You use less diesel with a clean filter. So you want to make sure you change your filter frequently, or pull it out, blow out the area as much as you can, and then reuse it. But you have to make the judgment of when to replace that filter when it's dirty, depending on the amount of dirty work that you're doing. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean the area to drop the oil in. So I'm going to remove my my fill cap, and once I get that fill cap removed, I'm going to get myself situated and fill my oil in. So let me go ahead and get my funnel, set up my funnel on the engine block so I can start to get my oil filled back into the engine block. So let's get this process going and move on to the next step. Let me reposition my camera in a better position, because some people complain about my camera angle is always off and it's a bad angle and the view is bad. So let me get this camera repositioned and set it up where you can see how the oil is getting filled in. So now I'm going to hold my funnel and start pouring my oil in, making sure or trying not to spill it on the engine block itself. You can see some spillage, but minimize the spillage, because when the engine gets hot, it'll start burning and you'll get that burnt oil smell. If you don't remember that you dropped oil on there, you'll start wondering to know where did it come from. What's that smell? So let's get this engine block all filled up with the right amount of oil. So let me speed up this video and get this oil in this engine block, and we're gonna clean up the area where the cap have to go, wipe out any excessive oil that's spilled as much as we can get, and catch you on the next video for part 3, where I'm doing the hydro fluid. So I'm gonna clean up the area, put the cap back on, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the hydro fluid. So look out for that next video to be published. Thanks for watching. Share, like, comment. Thanks.